me?
I said you.
I said you.
I said you. Ooh, the mic.
The mic disagrees.
Hi guys. Welcome to episode 5 of the Two Minds podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you haven't watched our previous episodes, you can pause it and have a look,
See which one entices you.
and come back.
Yeah. And thank you for joining us on this journey. Thank you for joining us on this journey.
Joining us on this journey to walking journey to podcast.
Thank you for joining us on this podcast journey. We really appreciate it, and I hope you like this episode.
So the topic for today's video is boundaries. We're saying it so upbeat.
Woo!
But
it's a serious topic. We're gonna start with a quick game of me or her, and my sister's gonna read out some scenarios, and we're just gonna say whether that's more like her or more like me.
Yeah, and these are all like boundary related scenarios. Okay, so
I haven't seen these, so this is blind thingy.
Oh yeah, you have. I've seen them. So.
Okay.
Who is more likely to muted or unfollowed someone on social media for your mental health?
TikTok. You put me? Yeah, she blocked me. Woo!
Everybody can get it.
Everybody gets blocked on her watch. I'm happy you know that's you.
Yeah, so that knows me.
I wouldn't say it's the best boundary, but like whatever works for you.
It's not the best, but I feel like if it does give you peace, then why not? Who is more likely to say no to a friend and feel guilty about it?
Are you copying me, sissy?
No, I'm not copying because I kind of feel like both of us.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. But you put yours afterwards.
No, because you know what? The thing with me is I don't even say no.
Not practicing the boundaries.
So there's nothing to feel guilty about.
Oh yeah, fair.
It's like, I think both of us.
Both of us. I felt. What was the question?
Say no to a friend and feel guilty about it.
To be honest, I think that's actually. I don't feel that guilty.
You know what?
You said me.
I said you.
I said you.
I said you. Ooh, the mic.
The mic disagrees.
Who's more likely to feel awkward explaining a boundary to family?
I'd say none of us.
Or should we say family and friends or anyone? Who's more likely to feel awkward explaining a boundary?
I would always feel awkward.
I would say me.
I think who's more likely to you, but I still feel I don't feel great when I'm doing it.
Who's more likely to ignore a call or text because you need me time? Sorry, everybody.
When I went to uni, she gave me 3 calls a week. No. Let me say it. When I went to uni, she gave me a 3 call a week limit, and on the 3rd call, she would make it be known that this was my last call. Yep, that is what you used to do to me, actually.
The thing is, I don't remember that. I don't ever remember that rule. But then that's because I feel like you call in a way where it's, I don't know, you call, you have nothing to say and you'll just call. And the thing is, a lot of the times I can't even get through to you because you're just a busy body. I can't even get through to you.
I'm not ignoring. I'm not looking at the phone like, I just didn't see the call.
To be honest, I don't think I would ignore it if it's coming through.
Next question.
Wow.
Wait, did you say me? Yeah,
it's you. Of course,
it's Steffo.
me. Yeah.
Steffo. Oh, I know.
I said it's me.
But that's good though. To be honest, these are all boundaries.
Although I'm not sure if that one's a good one. Okay, so last one. Okay. Who's more likely to politely decline an invite to protect your energy?
Politely decline.
Decline an invite to protect your energy. I would say
both of us. Yeah, like politely decline. I'm really bad, and like my friends have checked me on this because I'm a yes before a no person.
Okay.
And I'll be like, yeah, sure, and then it's like, oh no. But now I'm becoming more of a no before a yes.
Good icebreaker to the topic.
Okay, so you have some questions.
Yeah. What's the secret to communicating your boundaries clearly without the guilt trip or the fear of being seen as selfish?
This one is a hard one, and I think it's something that I had to learn, and I'm still learning. Because for some people, communicating their boundaries comes really easily because of just their upbringing and everything. But for some, it doesn't, and it's something that we have to learn. So this came from my workplace. This tip that I'm going to give comes from my workplace, and it's called the 4-part I statement. And it allows you to express your boundaries clearly without putting so much blame on the other person. So it's more about how you feel than what they've done. So it literally goes like this. I feel, that's number 1, and you state the emotion that you feel. When you describe whatever they're doing wrong, because then you describe like how it's affecting you, and then you add help me by. So I'm going to use a really simple example. Like if your friend comes to your house and she's leaving like mess everywhere, and she's just really messy and she's just not cleaning up after herself, you can use the 4-part I statement to express this without seeming like you're a dirty, you were this, you know. So you would say in that circumstance, I feel frustrated when you leave your clothes and your plates everywhere because the dirt is making me feel overwhelmed. Help me by clearing up after yourself, please. So it just takes away a lot of the, you are really dirty, you should do this. You add the help me, so you kind of disguise what they need to do without it sounding so like you. So yeah, I think that's a nice tip to express your boundaries without feeling like guilty about it.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And it makes it like less confrontational.
Yes.
And even so, to continue off of that, well, based on like my experiences, because to be honest, for me and boundaries are like, for me, boundaries are hard. So I would say kind of communicating your boundaries early on, and you can do it in a way where it's not so confrontational.
Yeah.
So before it builds up. So I feel like in my past experiences, excuse me, when you don't communicate your boundaries, or you don't, maybe there's something on your mind and you don't say it
straight away,
it just builds and builds and builds, and then depending on the severity, it could become something much bigger
than it was.
Yeah. You can do it in a way where it's not so intense.
Yeah,
especially
like
when it's
using
early
the
on.
4-part I statement.
Yeah.
I think that makes it so much more less intense because it's less about you or like them and more about how you feel.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important what you said. Communicating your boundaries early on makes them less awkward afterwards, because if you've been with like a guy for a year and now you're going to start saying, I don't like it when you do this, but you've like been accepting it for the whole year, it's so much more difficult. But if you're still on the like dating stage and like you're just getting to know each other and he does it, you can literally use that 4-part statement. I feel uncomfortable when you do that because it just makes me feel like blah blah blah. Yeah. Help. We don't have to say help me, but you know what I mean. But like, you know, it'd be really great if you just didn't do that.
Yeah. Do cultural or generational gaps make our understanding of boundaries more complicated? How do they play into the way we draw the line? I think that's a really good one.
That's a really good question. So what do you think, sis?
So I say yes, it definitely has an impact. Well, the way I kind of understand the question is kind of like the culture you were raised in, the upbringing you were raised in. And I would absolutely say it definitely impacts your boundaries, especially if you don't have the personality type of someone who naturally is able to stand up for themselves. Because some people just have, it's just in them naturally, and it's a beautiful thing, but then for a lot of us it's not. And for some of us who were raised in cultures where you weren't really given the freedom to, even if it's express yourself, if it's to bring up something that maybe you feel like you were wronged or you were hurt, you can't really bring it up, it's a bit awkward. I feel like that definitely follows you outside into the world, and then you kind of have to kind of basically unlearn all of that. So I would say absolutely. Yeah. What would you
I think say? Your upbringing is really important when it comes to how you create boundaries. I don't think anyone is naturally great at creating boundaries. I think it's literally their childhood that allows them to be great. Their childhood gave them space to express how they feel without it being shut down, or express how they feel without without conflict. And when you're raised in that type of environment where your voice really matters and what you say actually holds weight, then when you go out in the world, it's a normal thing for you. You might be raised in dynamics where in the family you raise anyone can raise like a concern or something that's hurt them, and it's met with a lot of conflict. And if you're brought up in that type of home where there's these type of stuff are met with conflict, it shuts you down. And then you have to learn how to create boundaries when you leave your house. So yeah, I think it's really important. It's a really important factor. And it's really unfortunate because I can see it in some of my friends that are really like, they're great at making boundaries because they haven't had circumstances where boundaries led to conflict. So it's like, it's a normal thing. But when boundaries always lead to conflict while you're growing up, when you go outside, you're like, oh, I don't really want to rock the boat, because you assume that it's going to be like led to conflict when more times it's not. But when you're brought up in the other side, where like you're allowed to express your voice, you know, blah, blah, etc., then when you go out in the world, you think it's a normal thing. That person did something to annoy you, you're going to say it straight away because it's just like, that's normal. That's how I was brought up. But if you're born in a house where, and who are you to tell me that, then you just don't get the space to learn those stuff. So yeah, 100%. I think it does affect.
Yeah. Pretty much, yes.
Yes. Okay, what's the last question?
The last question is, what are the red flags that tell us our boundaries are being crossed, and how do we spot them before it's too late?
I think for me, it'll be like how I feel about the situation. And for some people it's different, but I take some time to register some stuff. So it might not, at that moment, it might not feel so intense. But then when I reflect back on it, you always like get in the shower and you're like, that person had me messed up. Literally, but
you know that TikTok where it's like, I hate that.
Yeah, honestly. So like, whether you realize it then or you realize it before, it's like listening to your body. How does it make you feel? Does it make you feel a bit anxious? The situation, just listening to your actual body's reaction, because your body tells more than anything, and just knowing yourself.
Yeah,
you know, reflecting. I think journaling is a great thing to say here. Because if you journal, and you don't have to journal every day, but if you journal and you write about stuff that's happened to you, you're able to reflect on it, and you're able to see quicker that thing actually annoyed you, and you're able to like bring it up quicker.
Yeah.
Because after like 2 months, you can't say 2 months ago, I just realized that. Yeah. So just listen to yourself so that you can, you know, right there and then be like, actually, I don't like this.
Yeah. And another thing just came to my mind. Sometimes you can tell based on how you would behave in certain circumstances. So if there's certain things you wouldn't do to someone,
don't assume that
could also be kind of a boundary, because you wouldn't do it to
you wouldn't.
the person.
And it's hard because everyone is different. But I think anything that you wouldn't do to someone, don't let anyone do that to you. Like, there's grace, but then it's just like some stuff is like, you think, do they know what they're doing? They always know what they're doing. When we're adults, they always know what they're doing. So before you start thinking, did they even mean to? Did they? Yes. No. Yes. And yes. So just skip to the expressing your boundaries part. Don't need to question yourself.
Yes. And I like what you said about knowing yourself.
Yeah, knowing yourself.
Sometimes knowing yourself can... Having a strong sense of self, those things can create kind of a shield against BS. Long story short, I don't know how to say it nicely. Yeah, it's just a shield against the BS.
And if you don't know yourself, people are gonna easily spin you left, right, and center because like you don't even know what you don't like.
Yes.
Because
I feel like looking back now in scenarios where I felt like my boundaries were crossed. Some of it also was to do with maybe me feeling a sense of like not really being sure about like myself. If I like this thing or did I not like this thing. This sense of like, oh, I'm not really sure, I don't have that strong sense of like self or knowing. And then because of that, the person has kind of weaved their way in. Not everyone kind of pushes your boundaries very overtly. Sometimes it can be very covert, And I think those are the instances that are
where it's
tricky.
harder for you
Yeah.
to bring it up because you don't even know if you're tripping or they're tripping. But always bring it up, because I feel like regardless of if you're tripping or they're tripping, when you bring it up, it's gonna be resolved. You're gonna then know, instead of holding it in and like you just feel some type of way for the rest of your life. And more times, like, if you have good friends and good people around you, it's gonna be a resolution, and it's gonna be like, oh, I thought, and that's it. So yeah, period. Well, that was it. It's a short one.
Yeah, let's keep it sweet.
Keep
and
it short,
short
sweet
and
and
sweet.
sweet. All right. So we always end on a gentle reminder. I'm just gonna, you tell me when to stop, and then I'll think.
Stop.
At the end of the day, it is quite simple. There are so many uncertain and confusing things in life, but love should never be one of them. Love should never be one of them. Period. This doesn't have that much to do with boundaries, but...
You know what? If someone loves you, they'll be considerate of your boundaries.
Period. Yeah. Let her hear it. Thank you so much for watching the 5th episode, and I hope you tune in for episode 6. Bye.